Hey, welcome to Rockley. If you're a record collector, music fanatic, you're in the right place. And I want to discuss what I've learned about the genre and show you some of my favorites that I've picked up. Stay tuned.
Get ready for Rockley, bringing music to you. Rockley, rock and roll, metal and country too. Get ready for the record of the week. Get ready for Rockley.
Okay, so if you're not familiar with thrash metal, it's a extreme subgenre of heavy metal that consists of fast tempos, double bass drum, shredding guitar. Usually lyrical themes are or can be political or anti-religion, but they don't have to be. Just very common. Vocals can either be harsh or clean, and you'll hear what's often called as the Big Four, and that's Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax are kind of considered the most popular or bands that help popularize the genre. And while I enjoy those bands, I wanted to take a deeper dive into thrash metal and show you some albums that don't get as much attention, but are absolutely fantastic. Before we get started, I want to say a huge thank you to my good friend Michael. Most of the albums I'm about to show you were recommended by him. He is very knowledgeable in the thrash metal genre, and I likely would have never discovered these albums without him. So, Michael, thank you. Okay, so first up, we have Artillery. They're a Danish thrash metal band. This is by Inheritance, and it was recently reissued by Real Gone Music. And that label, I've picked up a few releases by them, and they just have a knack for picking out hidden gems, and they do a really nice job. Great packaging, and the pressings always sound really nice, and this one's no different. Artillery, man, this is what started the thrash metal binge, and listening to this, very similar to Megadeth, with like some power metal sprinkled in, and I love it. The vocalist has a far wider range than Dave Mustaine, and he goes into the his falsetto, and love it. I think I definitely gravitate towards thrash metal that incorporates the higher vocals, clean vocals, but just great riffs, great guitar on here. Really, really recommend this one. Then we have Forbidden, and these guys are insanely talented. Just super tight drumming. This is their debut, Forbidden Evil. The musicianship on here is just through the roof. Like I said, very tight drumming, great bass on here. The guitar work is phenomenal. And Russ Anderson, what a underrated metal vocalist. Absolutely just sublime. I love his voice, and his style and delivery on here is impeccable. And this was one of the first ones Michael recommended to me, and I'm so glad I picked it up. This was released in '88, and then they had their follow-up, Twisted Into Form, which just another fantastic album. Honestly, the main difference is probably a little bit more a little more raw, rough around the edges on the debut, but just tons and tons of energy. And then you get into Twisted Into Form, and they clean things up a bit, tighten things up, but both just equally fantastic. This one on yellow vinyl and this one on blue. Really, really dig this band. And like I said, this is probably, from a ranking musicianship, the talent in this band is second to none, really. I think these two releases you could put up against any of the Big Four albums and would really hold their own. And I think with their releases being towards the end of the decade in the 80s, so 88 and then Twisted in the Form is 90, I think, thrash metal, its popularity was waning. You were on the verge of grunge coming out, and, they would change their sound a bit on releases after these two to try to capitalize on those changes, and just not as good. But these are fantastic thrash albums. This is probably my favorite out of all the albums I'm showing you, is Toxik. This is their debut, World Circus, and then they had a follow-up called Think This. And both of these records, again, just like Forbidden, these two albums for Toxik, fantastic. The vocalist on here is my favorite out of all these guys. I love his ability to effortlessly go into his falsetto. It's just phenomenal. I love it. And the guitar on here is, gosh, the riffs, and it's aggressive, but then you have elements of prog metal sprinkled in, just absolutely technical, shredding riffs, these gorgeous, clean vocals, yet there's still this aggression. I love it. To me, this is they made this thrash record for me, because this is exactly, to my ear, what it should sound like. I love it. And love the cover art. This cover art on both of these, so Think This and World Circus, both done by Ed Repka, who is the father of thrash metal aesthetic. He has done numerous album covers for bands. I think Megadeth, Peace Sells But Who's Buying was his first cover that kind of gained a lot of popularity. And I think these covers are some of the best that he's ever done. Definitely rank up there with some of his best work. And I even love Toxik's logo. I just think, man, it's just like the whole package, the whole deal. The imagery, the sound, production on these albums, I love it. Like I said, elements of prog metal on these thrash albums. So especially on Think This, you have clips from the character Gordon Gekko from Wall Street on here. Greed is good. So you can tell they have political themes on these records, and just fantastic songwriting. Their ability to incorporate melody, just love it. These fantastic. If you listen to any of these, I think these Toxik records are the ones to go with. I really like these ones. Okay, here is Zentrix for Whose Advantage, another later thrash metal, released in 1990. Man, you want to talk about riffage. The riffs on here are incredible. The other albums have riffs that are phenomenal. These ones are super infectious. I don't know, these catchy melodic riffs on here on this album. The singing style on here, the vocalist doesn't go into a falsetto. He kind of does more of a James Hetfield of Metallica imitation, and which is just fine. He does a really good job. Sounds great. I like it when vocalists can hit those high notes. But this album is really great too. Again, political themes, but it's all about the riffs on this one. Definitely worth checking out. The last one I'll do here is X-Hoarder, and this is the album Slaughter in the Vatican. As you can see, that's these priest guys getting taken to the to be hung, and this when I put this on, I was like, wait a minute, this is Pantera. Like, I immediately had to go look it up and see, like, were members of Pantera in X-Hoarder? Like, what is going on here? And I'm not the only one. I guess Pantera was criticized for sounding like X-Hoarder early on. Elements of groove metal on here. I guess X-Hoarder definitely early, like, groove metal originators. I believe they're from Louisiana, and this album is definitely probably the most aggressive, brutal of what I've shown here. And the singing style, if you like Pantera, Phil Anselmo's delivery, this is, I think, where he got it, because he just emulates Kyle Thomas almost exactly. So, and Kyle Thomas, interestingly enough, he sings like, or sounds like Phil, or Phil sounds like Kyle Thomas on this record. But then if you go listen to the Distortion Field by Trouble, when Kyle Thomas took over vocals, he sings completely different. A super clean, powerful voice on that record. A guy is super talented. But anyway, if you're into Pantera, I definitely would check out X-Hoarder. Alright, well, that is a brief glimpse into my thrash metal journey. I have several more albums, so if you like this video and you want to see more, definitely let me know. And if you have any recommendations, please leave me a comment. And you just had a healthy dose of broccoli. I'll see you next time.